Okay, good morning, guys. I hope everybody's doing well. It seems like forever since I've seen you guys. We're in my kitchen now, and we're going to continue on with our chapter in finite math here. I read that the governor has closed the schools through at least April 30th now, so I think we're going to be doing this for about another month or so here. I do have, this is my kitchen. Just give you a quick tour. And a couple of years ago, I painted a chalkboard on the wall here, and I really never thought I'd be using it to teach finite math, but here I am doing it anyway. So what we want to do is we're continuing on with our chapter here, which has been scheduling. And if you remember what we've been doing, we've been looking at things that look like this. I've shared this document with you today. You can print it out and work along with me here. And I've copied this picture. See where my pointer is right now? I've copied this picture onto my chalkboard over here. And so if you remember what these are, this is a directed graph, a digraph, and it's representative of how completing a job. And jobs are building something, we said, cooking something, but getting something done. And this particular job has 10 tasks associated with it. Inside T1 through T10, inside the vertices are the length of time estimated to complete each one of those tasks. And so what we've been doing has been we've been working on scheduling these according to the list processing algorithm. And we've always done that where we're given a priority list of the priority of how we want the job to be done. And that's always been something that's been given to us. We check back to see what the next priority is. Can we do it? Is it possible to do it? Is it not possible to do it? But we've been looking at, can you do it? And so we've never been asked to make the priority list. And that's what we're going to start to look at how to do that today. And we're going to work through building. Today, we're just going to work through building the priority list here for this graph. And this is done with the critical path. You might remember the critical path is the longest path through the graph, which represents the earliest possible completion time that in which a job could be completed. And so to find the critical path, you have to look and see what are all the possible paths in the graph. I found 6 paths, and I listed them here already just to get started. Just to get us started with a shorter video here, I've listed all 6 paths. Just quickly, T1, T2, T3 is a path through the graph, but also if you start at T1, you go T1, T4, T3. That's the second one, and those add up to 8 plus 12 plus 3 is 23 minutes. Starting at T1, you can do T1, T4, T7. So that's the 3 different paths starting at task 1. Task 5 also has 3 different paths, but if you start there, you can go from task 5 to 6 to 4 to 3 for 36 minutes. You could go 5, 6, 4, 7 for 44 minutes. You could go 5, 8, 9, 10 for 25 minutes. So the critical path is the longest of all of the paths that are in the graph, which means that for us, right, the critical path is the 44-minute one right there, which represents 5, T6, T4, T7. So that's the 44 minutes is the shortest completion time that we could possibly complete, in which we can possibly complete this job. And we're going to use the critical path to help us to build the priority list before we schedule anything. So the way that you do this is described in the handout that I gave you, is whichever of the paths is the critical path, that's the first task that should be in the priority. That should be your first priority in your priority list. So since T5, T6, T4, T7 is the critical path, it's the longest path through the graph, that means our first priority is going to be the first task in that path. So our first, I'm going to build a priority list down here. Our first priority then is T5 because it's the longest path, it's the critical path. And when I go then to find out what the second priority is now, I first have to update my paths here. So I've already scheduled, I already have T5 selected as a priority. So now I'm not going to use that in a path anymore. So I'm going to erase T5 from any path that it appears in. It doesn't appear in anything over here. And I'm going to adjust my completion times now based upon having scheduled T5. T5 is 6 minutes long. So since I erased T5 from these three paths, I am going to reduce each one of those. So 36, take out the 6 and you're left with 30. 44, take out the 6 minutes from T5. So 44 minus 6 is 38. And take the 6 minutes out from here. 25 minus 6 is 19. So those are now my updated paths. And to schedule the next, or not schedule rather, to find the next priority, I'm going to be using whatever the new critical path was, and it's this one. 38 is now the longest. T6 starts that path. This is now the longest path. So basically, whichever one's the biggest, use the first thing in that path. So my next my next priority is gonna be T6, and I am going to continue now to anywhere where there's a T6, erase it, and subtract 15 minutes from the total completion time. Because if I take T6 away from here, subtract 15 from 30, and now this path is a 15-minute long path. I'm going to erase the 15-minute T6 task from here. And then if I do 38 minus 15 is going to give me 23. And this just keeps going and going and going on until we have all of our tasks are labeled in the priority list. Now, if you look at this now, you have two values that are the same. They're both 23 for the path. So what you do in that case is we always default to the earlier completion number. So since this is 23 and this is 23, this is 4, this is 1, we're going with the lower one. We're going to do 1 next as our priority, okay? So they're both the same this time. You have to pick one, pick the lower numbered task whenever that happens. So task 1 is going to be the next one that I pick. And then we're going to just keep this going until they're all there. So task 1 is 8 minutes long. So I am going to erase it from here and take those 8 minutes off from here. I am going to erase it from here. And I am going to take 8 minutes off from here. And I'm going to erase it from here and take 8 minutes off from there. Okay? I didn't erase it from here. What I'd like you to do today is to finish just building the priority list. So we'll go over the answer tomorrow, but I'd like you to just continue to build the priority list here a lot as this algorithm is going and see if you can get it right. We'll go over the correct answer tomorrow. So give that a shot for tonight. Hope everybody's having a great day and everybody's safe and healthy.